Sonny, Joey, 500. Got some goats in the building. Get ready for a shakedown.
Prepare for a shakedown. We from Philly where they clap like huddles when they break down. Get ready for a shakedown. We underdogs, my guy. Kinda used to all the hate now. Prepare for it, man, y'all get it. My QB got swag, my wideout is award winning. His fly was fly, Joey and 500. Like and subscribe, yeah. Here's a quote you can sing back. Shake squad up, and don't be a dingbat. It's a shakedown.
Don't you frown. Here comes the shakedown.
Let's go.
Yo, by the way, Dingbat here, and welcome to the Philly Shakedown podcast, where today we're going to talk about the Eagles going 4-0 and about 10 years added onto everybody's life. Joey Shakes, man, what's going on, man? How are you doing?
Collecting my thoughts over the overtime win today, and there's definitely a lot to talk about regarding it was this the best game that we've seen from this team, and that's what we were kind of going into this game to find out if it's the truth or not.
Yeah, it's crazy. DB Cooper's here, Jadis Young's here, Kyle's here, my kitty cat is here, Perry's here, Steve's here, Donnie, Cameron, Daz, Joseph is here, Jonas, DB talking now, Jerome, everybody, thank you for being here. We appreciate it so much. Yeah, man, that was one crazy game today. I guess on the surface we need to be happy. We are 4-0, and that's a good thing. And I don't want to take anything away. There were some good things. There were things I like to see, but God, man, that game just there were so many things that frustrated me that game. And I'm gonna be honest, it really had to do with the coaching staff. To me, that really bothered me. A lot of the things that I saw that they were doing today, man, it's just it was rough. It was rough.
Yeah, true. I think part of it is, you want to see this offense and this defense get better every single week. And statistically, a game that goes in overtime, especially, the statistics are gonna look good on a lot of players because it's a longer game and big plays happen. And some of the statistics. Obviously, this is Jalen Hurts' best game of the season statistically. But when it comes down to the offense, we'll just start with that. And I think. I thought right from the start, the distribution was pretty good. They got, DeAndre Swift going, a couple passes to A.J. Brown. They got Dallas Goedert involved. And you had that, that run with DeAndre Swift into the end zone, which was a good first series. And then it just started to get a little weird with not running Swift for, in the second quarter. They kind of strayed away from him a little bit at certain times. They just there's times where this offense looks like it's in a rhythm, and there's times where there are random plays that you don't expect on, whether it's throwing a deep shot on second down or there's QB design runs. Like there's some weird stuff. Like I don't know where Brian Johnson is at with this coaching, but it has to improve. It was very. There's times where Hurts is just not comfortable in this offense right now, and I could tell.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Just call me Flair. Thank you for Super Chat. Because this game showed me that Hurts is the heart and soul of the Eagles team. When our defense failed, Hurts stepped up. Hurts, AJ Morrow, get a cigar. Well, listen, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good things to talk about, a lot of good guys to talk about. But I do want to continue what you're talking about offensively. I want to go watch this game again because I have a theory, and like, mind you, this is only coming off of watching it one time during a live stream where it's hard to follow every little thing that's going on. But it seems like to me, whenever they take DeAndre Swift out, the offense sputters. It just starts to fall. And I don't know on what planet they are on right now, but I don't understand why you take DeAndre Swift out for almost whole entire quarters of a game when he's that effective. It just boggles my mind. Like, okay, you don't want to overuse him, fine. But like in certain situations, it just seems to me that you would put him back in like certain points in the game. For example, I think it was a 4th and 1. I think it was a 4th and 1, and they have Gainwell in there, and they run Gainwell, and they don't get it. And not only that, but Gainwell fumbles the ball. Almost caught. Oh, it was a 3rd down. I'm sorry, it wasn't a 4th down, but it was a 3rd down, and he fumbles the ball. Literally, almost cost us 3 points. And to me, it was like, well, if you're going to run in that situation, why are you not running Swift? It just seems like they haven't come to the reality yet that DeAndre Swift is the guy right now. He is the hot hand, and he's by far clearly the best running back on your team.
Yeah, I mean, I think there was like a red zone. It was like a 3rd and long, and they just run like, yeah, it was that handoff to like, it was a QB run, and then it was a handoff to Gainwell. And I don't get it. I mean, if you want those tough yards, Gainwell is not the best back to use for the tough yards. You have that explosiveness with DeAndre Swift. I mean, what I liked about DeAndre Swift today as well is, like, he didn't have a breakout game today. I think he only had like 14 carries, like 50 something yards, but they got him into the passing game where they'd put Gainwell in the backfield. And he was a huge mismatch. I mean, this was where, they started to cook a little bit with him. They started, they had he got the PI call, which was good on the linebacker. He's a big mismatch out there. I know they're trying to get him into the passing game as well, but I feel like they don't know. Like, I totally agree with you. I feel like they don't know. Like, I don't know if the running back coach is I think the running back coach subs everybody out, subs people whenever he wants, or is it Brian Johnson that wants a specific running back on a certain play? And it just looks off at times. I don't know.
You know what I think? I think when Gainwell's in there, I think the defense doesn't care, and then they just focus on other people. But I think when Swift is out there, they got to it keeps the defense honest. You know what I mean? I want to watch it again, but I don't understand. You go like basically they went the whole second quarter, the 2-minute, last 2 minutes of the half. No DeAndre Swift. He comes in first series, then he's out like the next 2 series. It's like, well, I don't understand what's going on. It just makes no sense to me. But other than that, I mean, I thought, of course, AJ Brown had an amazing game. I thought Jalen Hurts this was definitely his best game. I thought, especially passing the ball, I thought he looked really, really good. He did miss Devontae Smith. One time he just didn't see him; he's wide open for a touchdown. Another time he threw him deep. He just overthrew him, and he was wide open.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I mean, I thought Jalen Hurts had his best game. Where I think Hurts made the mistake was late in the game, and I was saying this in my stream, when they scored that touchdown to go up 7 with 1:43. That was the worst thing they could have done. And I was saying in my stream, like, it's 2nd and 4. You've got to get a first down. You get a first down, you can run the clock all the way down, and kick a field goal and win the game, because Washington had only one timeout. And I think that Jalen Hurts actually audibled out of the play and threw a touchdown. That was a pretty touchdown pass, don't get me wrong. Yeah. But it gave Washington time to go down the field and score. Yeah,
it was like what, 1:43. Like, I thought like they should have milked the clock just a little bit more. Like, they had time. Well, they had a little bit more time to milk the clock. That was way too much time. I mean, it came down to 1 second, one play to tie the game up and go into overtime. And plus in overtime, when they were actually going down the field, the 2nd and 4, whatever it was, and he just throws a deep shot. I don't, you know what I mean? Like, get the yards, man. Like, why? Like, they do this thing where they just throw deep shots, and nobody was there. We got the penalty because nobody was there, and then they moved the Eagles back out of field goal range, and that's when we ran the 6-yarder with DeAndre Swift, and they passed the one at Devontae Smith, and then they kicked the field goal.
But Swift gets that great run on the sideline, gets the ball, gets a first down.
Yeah.
And I'm saying, my exact words are, Swift, mother humping Swift. Like, right. Feed the guy right there. You could end the game. Just let him run it out. You're in field goal range. Keep running him, and then go ahead. Because Washington looked gassed at that point.
True.
And they let him back in, throwing the deep ball. And I got to tell you, I thought the refs I don't like complaining about refs, but I will when I have to. Dude, they're horrible. The penalty to AJ Brown for putting the ball down at the guy's feet was a horrible call. There was no need to call that play.
15 yards.
And then I'm sorry, but they called intentional grounding on a miscommunication between AJ Brown and Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts was throwing long, and he turned around. It was not intentional grounding. It was miscommunication, you know?
Yeah, you have to let these guys play. You got to let them play sometimes. Yeah, and they did it on the defense too. Well, they did it on the they had the nose tackle on the push tush. They had the nose tackle. His hand was touching the ball. They're worried about Landon Dickerson. Like, seriously?
Dude, I was lying up in the neutral zone. Literally, it was over the ball. His head was over the ball every time, and they didn't call a penalty. It was so annoying, dude. Those refs stunk. They stunk. But I mean, you know, my ire and my frustration really isn't with the offense, because I know that the offense can fix things. It's with the defense, dude. It's with Sean Desai. I mean, first of all, is there anything we want to talk about on offense before we get onto this defense? Because
yeah, no, I mean, really, like I was upset with some of the play calling offensively. Like I was upset with some of the play calls. I don't know, like it definitely has to get better. And I don't know how many. You got a couple more weeks to get this better between placing the Rams, going to the Jets, and you know, getting ready for Miami. Miami got stomped today, which was a good game, by the way. Tre'Davious White's out for the rest of the season. He ended up having he ended up getting an ACL, an Achilles injury today, so he's out. But no, I mean, here's the one thing I'll ask you is this, okay? What do you think? Like, remember last year with Shane Steichen, it was the Texans game. We were passing the ball too much. There was a strip sack on Jalen Hurts, and then like Hurts went to the sideline to talk to Shane. Do you think that it's too much of a? Do you think that like Brian Johnson is emotionless on the sideline? Do you think there is too much of a friendly relationship? Do you think do they hold each other accountable? Does Hurts talk to him on the sideline? Is there, like, I wonder if there's any issues. Like, do they talk about things during the game? Like, I wonder, because
I don't think there's an issue. I mean, obviously, you don't know. I don't think there's an issue. I mean, I think the play calling is starting to get there. Every once in a while, there's like really like you know, it's like out of nowhere. There's like, you know, Jalen Hurts is running the ball, and it's like, what? Why are you doing that play right now? It makes no sense. But I feel like it's getting better for the most part. I do. I think each week it's gotten better. I thought Jalen had his best game. I just think there's just a few things that are lagging, and I think one of the things is the way that they're playing the running backs and the way that they look at the running backs. I don't think it helps you right now. I think DeAndre Swift, I think DeAndre Swift's an absolute monster. We locked into this, and we need to use it.
Right now. And Boston Scott's activated. They don't even use him.
No,
Boston Scott's activated. They don't even use him.
They missed. Jalen Hurts missed. There was a holding call on it, but DeAndre Swift was open. He was going to score a touchdown if he catches the ball. I mean, so there are opportunities. I think they'll get it straight. I do. I feel like, to me, the bigger problem is on defense and with that defensive coach than the offense. I really do. I feel like the offense, at least every week, I can say, well, they're better than they were the week before. So I feel like we're on the verge. I feel like we're on the verge to really clicking. You know what I mean? Yeah. Mr. Rudy Poo, thank you for super checkers. I'm telling you, that MF for Brian Johnson is not real. He is not real. Thank you. Thank you for super chat. We got 813 people in the chat between both channels, by the way. Thank you guys so much for being here. Hit that like. Make sure you subscribe. And click the link in the description. Sub up my man Joey Shakes. And thank you guys for being here. You know, we would have been earlier. I fell asleep. And I was like, I woke up. I told you I didn't even know what day it was. I thought I was late for work. I wasn't sure what was going on. Why are you keep carrying your cats around? Chris, thank you for super chat. He goes, giving up a touchdown with less than a minute left is scary. Man, it really is scary. And it really is like, I don't know. Sometimes I wonder, like, these guys are they so analytically driven, and they're letting the analytics dictate so much stuff that
Oh
they
no.
don't have a feel for the game at all? Do they not? You know?
I really hope that, yeah, we dealt with that. They had like a chart on the probability of percentage if they score. I really hope that's not the case. I
But
really
well,
hope
it just
not.
feels like they don't have a sense of like they don't have a feel for what's going on. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? All the fans can feel it. Everybody can feel it, but they seem like they don't. I just don't. I don't get it. You know. And let me say this too before we continue. Like, it, we are just commenting and talking about what we saw and what stood out to us. I'm very happy the Eagles won. I'm going to have a victory
Hmm.
celebration cigar. We're happy that they're 4-0, but we know that they're 4-0 and they're not playing their best football yet.
True.
And we got to acknowledge the things that we got to work on. Um, for me, the single most annoying thing and the thing that really bothers me the most is this defensive coordinator. I felt like it was Jonathan Gannon 2.0 today. How do you let Sam Howell come out there and throw like he did on you? We talk about this all the time. We talked about it last night. You can't allow a young quarterback to come out and get comfortable like that and be able to go out and throw. You have to show him things that he's never seen. You have to keep him confused. They did absolutely none of that, dude. None of it. I don't understand what the defensive game plan was. To
Yeah,
be honest.
I felt like there was one play, or there was multiple plays, but one that really reminded me of last year where it looked like they were playing press, and I saw like Slay right in front of McLaurin face to face, and then like Slay taps him with his hands, barely even pushes him, taps him. McLaurin gets behind, wide open space, all that grass, catches him. Like I don't get like who's supposed to peel off. Like I don't. It drove me nuts the whole entire day. I don't get it. I don't get why you're playing these guys so far off. Hence why why the Bills had 10 sacks last week, 9 sacks for a reason last week, because they don't play off the ball that much. They don't. This team plays off the ball way too much. Like I don't know. Is there something they're not trusting with this defense? Is there I really don't know. They're not shadowing Slay on anybody. We already know they're
No,
not shadowing him
no,
on the best
no.
guy. We saw Job on McLaurin. I mean, we saw what? I don't know what he's doing. I really don't.
I don't get it. You can't, I know. It feels like a broken record, but it's like you can't be in
It
third
is.
and 3 and be 9 yards off the ball. It makes it easy for obviously, we talk about what the other team's game plan is going into a game, and we say they're going to want to get the ball out quick. They're going to want to get the ball out real quick. So what do? They go out and get the ball out quick. And it's very easy because all the receivers have to do is take 2-3 yards, turn around, and they're getting the ball in their hands. And there's still 4 or 5 yards before first contact is even made. It's like they're so scared to get caught over the top with a big play that they're willing to die by 1,000 paper cuts. And
It's
I don't get it.
Philly. It's not fair that he's going to rely on 4 guys up front to get pressure every single time. You're not going. You might get that, but they're going to be gassed. Like you got to blitz, and I don't think they blitzed enough today. I don't think
No,
they did.
no. When Morrow had 3 sacks.
I don't know.
Every time he came in and blitzed, he got pressure. And if you look at the beginning of the game, this kid starts off, I think he was like 12 of 15 to start the game. In the third quarter, it looked like we started to bump and run and play up a little bit more. All of a sudden, Washington couldn't move the ball. And then we get out of it. We score touchdown. We totally come out of it and stop doing it. I don't understand the philosophy at all. If it
Yeah.
was me, I would have been bringing blitzes.
Why is it when they find something that works? Why it's just like last year when they found something that works? Why is it when they go into the next game they stick with the original plan that got them into that hole that they to begin with? You know what I mean? Like why are they reset? They do the same. Like I don't get what they're trying not to give up a big play. Like what's the point of spending money on the defensive line if guys are going to be open 5 to 8 yards down the field before they're covered? It just makes no sense, dude.
And this defensive line they have no chance to get to the quarterback because the ball's out so quick. It's not fair. You really need your defensive backs and secondary. You need to help to hold them up. There were a couple of times where it's like man, if this kid had to hold the ball for another second, he's getting killed. And it's the same thing. For you to have a minute and something was, I don't know, minute 5. It was ridiculous to go all the way down there and score a touchdown. And then to score a touchdown on the last pass, you have 3 Eagles sitting deep in the end zone, and the guy's sitting right there in the corner just by himself. Nobody was even near him. Like, how does that even happen? I don't understand. Why don't you have guys that are up by the sticks and then guys behind that in the end zone? You got 10 yards of space in the end zone? You should have guys sitting there at the sticks, and then you should have guys behind that. There's no way that should happen. He was wide open.
You left Job all by himself. You left him all by himself.
It's crazy to me. It really is. It really is. To me, the biggest and listen, people say, well, this was a defense last year. This is the defense this year. I really believe it isn't a personnel problem. I really believe it's a schematic problem. It's a scheme issue. And they've got to stop it. And I don't think they play to their corner strengths. I don't think they play their defensive line strengths. And I don't even think they play their linebacker strengths. I think Morrow, who was very, very good today, by the way, and Cunningham, I think they're downhill linebackers.
Yeah.
What I mean by this, I think they need to be aggressive and they need to attack. That's where they're at their best. And we go drives without playing any of these guys to their best ability,
I know.
It's frustrating. Door Gunner, thank you for a super chat, my man. He goes, congrats to the Eagles on a hard-fought win. Think my Commanders might have something with Hal. He still has things to improve, but I like what I see. I was very impressed with Hal today. He made one throw to McLaurin, and McLaurin was like barely out. Like if they would have called it the other way, it would have been
the Reed Blankenship tackle, that one.
The one on the sideline. That was that was a big time throw. I give Hal a lot of credit. I thought he played well.
Definitely
about what he is,
Yeah, definitely definitely an upgrade over Heineke. And I think the only thing that really Hal needs to work on is I think once he got out of some pressures, we had him pressured a good amount of times. He got out of the pocket, made some passes, but when you have him inside the pocket, he gets a little panicky at times, and sometimes his accuracy goes down. But he could sling it. He can sling it. I ain't gonna lie, he can.
No, I think there's a good argument to be made that Washington may be the second best team in the division. I know that's going to pick Dallas Cowboy fans off, but it's true. Danny Patterson, thank you for super chat. He goes, AJ Brown's penalty set up a touchdown, a pattern of misconduct. No, I think people are trying to make a big deal and trying to be like, oh, see, there's AJ Brown again. We can't have anything nice. You have a premier wide receiver who had almost 200 yards receiving.
Yeah.
He catches a touchdown. He celebrates. And we're going to say that now he's miscontent. Dude, did you see what he did? All he did was put the ball at the feet of the guy. I don't think they should have called that a penalty. I think the problem wasn't with A.J. Brown. The problem was with the referees on that play. I thought that was bogus, man.
Just let them, it's like what are we supposed to do? I get it.
I mean, it has nothing to do with the game,
People are going to be pissed off because it was close. That's why. Because like last year when he did it against Pittsburgh, they were up a few touchdowns. So you can afford to do something like that. And that's probably why people are going to be pissed off.
I mean, Bazzaldi says AJ can say he's not a diva, but he's a dumbass to boot. Dude, I don't think it was that big of a deal. It wasn't like he pulled a Sharpie out of his thing and started signing. I don't know. I think that was more. I have more of an issue that they would even call that than he did that. But truthfully, if we're going to be honest, the play was not to make that throw. The play was to get the first down, make Washington use a timeout, run the ball, kill the clock, kick a field goal, and it's game over. That's the truth. Radiation Boss, thank you for super chat. He goes, Schwartz is not looking so bad now. He was doing more with less. I still had issues with Schwartz too. I don't know. I really missed the Jim Johnson days, the Buddy Ryan, Jim Johnson, Bud Carson. I miss the aggressive defense, and I think this defense is built to play downhill. And I feel like we're always worried about that one big play. Well, you know what? You give it up once in a while, so be it, because I think you're going to get a lot more good plays out of it, in my opinion.
I agree.
AJ got a taunting call for him for taunting Steelers last year and won today. So I don't think it's.
Emmanuel Forbes was talking so much shit all game and like doing stupid stuff all game. Like, come on.
I mean,
now.
it's a big emotional part of a game where you think you've just sealed the game. You take a lead late in the fourth quarter. The guy's emotional. He showed. I didn't think it was that bad. I really didn't think it was that bad. I thought it was a little too sensitive by the refs on that specific call. Green Blaze the Fly. Thank you for the super chat. He goes, still got work to do, but a win is a win. How you doing, Joey?
What's going on, Blaze? Oh man, win is a win.
Yeah. Gal says, here we go. How played what was one game? Y'all hyping them like y'all didn't. You did the Dolphins last week. Who are we? Are you a Cowboy fan? Didn't you lose the Arizona Cardinals? That's all I want to ask. Did you not lose to the Arizona Cardinals?
I didn't even understand that whole thing.
Because we gave Hal credit and said he looked good. I'm not saying he's going to be great. I don't know what he is, but I thought he showed some good things today.
Yeah,
what's the big deal about saying
100%.
That? Joseph F., thank you for the super chat, my man. Appreciate it. Let's see. Brown most likely did lead to a touchdown, but I'm not going to blame him for being in that situation. I just thought it was a weak taunt. It was a weak. It was like it was a bad call. It was also a bad call on where they called Jalen Hurts with intentional grounding. I thought that was absolutely two really bad calls. Sean Davis, thank you for the super chat. He goes, feel like Brian Johnson closes his eyes and randomly plays all over. Sometimes it feels like that. It really does. It really
like
does.
He did that.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Fabio, thank you for the super chat. He goes, what's wrong with Hurts not using run downfield? What do you mean?
Yeah, what does that mean?
You mean what's wrong with Hurts taking off and running? I don't have a problem with Hurts running at all. I thought there was a couple design runs at the wrong time. Like, I don't think they were the great calls. There was I want to say a second and whatever. I thought, you had success running the ball with the running back, throwing down there, and then it was like out of a second down and something down near the goal line. They decide to run a draw. It was just like, I don't know. It just didn't seem to fit. It seemed like every time it feels like they're getting a groove and they're in a rhythm, they do a play that completely takes them out of that rhythm. If you know what I'm saying.
Right. No, I get it.
I think that's what we're talking about, Yeah, you gotta love the Eagles. I mean, listen, here's what I'll say too. Good teams find a way to win. And there's no way to dice it. I don't care how you look at it. This is a 4-0 team. They're a 4-0. Miami lost today. There's only a few. Who's the other undefeated team again?
49ers.
49ers. So you got two undefeated teams. Eagles are winning and they're not even playing their best football yet. That should be a definite problem for the rest of the league, in my opinion. King of Kings, thank you for super chat. Goes, I'm tired of a win is a win. I want a dominant win.
I get it.
Well, yeah, I mean, sure, but let's be honest too. Let's keep it real. The Eagles and Washington always play tough games, and especially in Philly, they're very rarely blowouts. And if they are blowouts, it's always when we're in Washington. So we weren't going to get some sort of blowout win today, but can we play better? Yeah, I think most of the things that have to change are within the coaching staff and how they're going about doing certain things. Duncan Wright, member for 12 months, says, boy, the refs sure wanted their TV time today. Yeah, I mean, just some of
It
the
was
calls were
disgusting.
just
It
it's
was.
just way too much. Teal Hopkins, Dave versus Super Jacobs. Gainwell run on 3rd and 11. Now I need a new TV. Is that the one where he
Red
fumbled it?
zone. That's the.
And he fumbled it, right? He fumbled it,
It might
and
have
we got it
been.
back.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I don't understand what the fascination with Gainwell is to this point. You got to use Swift more.
Why are you not? I ask this every week. It's a broken record. It's like, Scott comes back, doesn't get a snap, and then Rashad Penny, 0. Another week.
Nothing. Yeah.
Don't know why. I don't get it. Are they saving him for the end of the season? I mean, I don't know why he's here. Why he's wasting a roster spot at this point. What is he doing?
Yeah. That's true. I'll tell you another guy that I gotta say something. I think he's got to go. I think they got to do something.
Derek Barnett.
Derek Barnett. but I mean, he does nothing. But Terrell Edmonds, dude, you cannot drop that interception in the end zone. Did you see the ease?
To him.
My kids with one hand tied behind their back could have caught that. It was up there. It was just floating up there, and he drops it. You can't drop that. I don't want him at safety, Joey. I want to go away from him at safety.
They had two injuries. I mean, they had no depth. I mean, literally they had, Evans was out and Sidney Brown was out. So I think they would have had more playing time than Edmonds would have. I mean, hopefully they're back next week. So I mean, I'm not a big fan of Edmonds. I'm not. Trust me. That was they hit Hal perfectly. That ball was slow motion. It wasn't like a hard pick.
It was like a feather. And it was like, I swear, I feel like it was like a minute of watching the ball in the air, waiting for him to grab it. And then he's just like, and he falls to the ground. You got to get out of the game. That you can't miss that. To me, the entire momentum of that game early would have changed right there.
True.
With that. Joseph Day for Super Chat. He goes, watching our defensive backs play 9 yards off their coverage was crazy. And then accepting that penalty on 4th and 1.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
You gave them, I mean, I don't get it. You accept the penalty because it's more yards. They have to get to a first down, but you're giving them 2 chances. They're going to go on 4th down. Like, Washington was feeling good about themselves. They would have went if they, it's crazy, dude.
I really think they sit there and they look at the 4th and 1 at this time. I think they look at the analytics. I truly believe that's what they do for a lot of these plays. They don't have a feel for the game. And it's not just the Eagles. I think a lot of coaches around the NFL, they do stupid things. And it's like, I don't think they have a feel for what's going on. It's crazy to me. It is, But at the end of the day, what I have to say about this team also is that this is a team that just keeps fighting, dude. They keep fighting.
They are
coming. They keep coming and pause, but they keep coming and they don't stop and they find ways to win. And you're 4-0, and right now you're in a situation where they haven't even played their best football yet. And at some point it's going to kick in, and they're going to be playing their best football, and they're going to have all these wins stockpiled, and that's going to be very, very important.
I agree. Totally agree.
Yeah, King of Kings, David Super Chat goes, if we play like this in the playoffs, we won't win. Yeah, I agree. You will not win in the playoffs.
No, there won't be a playoff team.
So
They'll lose
let
the first round.
me ask you a question. Nicholas Morrow, I thought he was one of the best players on the field today.
100%.
Three sacks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did Dean lose his job?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think so. Because and I know some Eagle fans will be pissed over that, but it's gonna ruin. If Dean comes back, it might ruin the mojo. It might ruin these guys. You have 2 veterans at linebacker right now, and they've gelled together so well. Like, you're either gonna have to put Penny on practice squad and protect him until you're ready to play him and bring Dean on the active roster, because I really don't want to put Nicholas Morrow back on practice squad. I'm sorry, but that guy can shoot the gap really well. The tackling is great. He plays with aggressiveness. And, he's played well in Sean Desai's system in the past. He's got familiarity with the coach, and I think they're both a great fit here. I mean, we got lucky. We got lucky with Zach Cunningham coming here.
Right.
Dean's already been hurt twice already. Twice.
I know. I really like what I saw from Morrow. I think you got to keep him there. And I think you got to keep playing him to his strengths. I think he's a downhill type linebacker. And when he's aggressive and he can attack, I think he's very good. But, it's going to be hard for Dean. It really is. Because you'd have to have your head checked to take that kid out. I thought was probably the best defensive player on the field today.
Mm-hmm.
Now, and it was good. It was good to see Reddick finally get a sack.
I
thought Jalen Carter could have had 3 sacks.
Oh.
There was another issue that I had a problem with defensively. I got to bring up. There was an early 4th and 1, right? And we all knew Washington was going for it. They don't have Jordan Davis in there.
I didn't notice that.
It's like why on 4th and 1 is Davis not in? And then there were times where it was like Jalen Carter on passing downs wasn't in there. Like I don't know. You got to start using those guys the right way. I know that there's rotations and I don't mind rotation as much on defensive line as I do running back. Like the running back situation, to me, I just feel like they go 3-4 drives. No Swift. He's not even in the game. It's like you don't want to use him all the time. Check him in, check him out. But I don't understand why it has to be every few drives. He's missing. I don't get it.
It's hard not to put Swift in the game because he's been so successful the past couple weeks. It's just now when you put in any other running back, I feel like we're barely getting any. I think what did Gainwell have? 14 carries for not even 20 yards. Like he didn't even have 20 yards today.
There's such a difference when you look at those guys. I mean. Swift is just a better running back. He's more explosive, and he makes positive plays. Not only that, but my theory is I'm going to go back and watch the game because I truly believe that this offense is not the same when he is not on the field. And I think part of that is the defense goes, all right, your running back's Gainwell. Worry about the passing game. Don't even worry about him. I really think that's how they look at it instead of, all right, you got to keep an eye on Swift. We got to keep the defense honest. So, yeah, I don't know. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Papa Joe Philly, thank you for super chat. He goes, hey guys, what the actual F was that? that was, I guess, in some ways, typical NFC East smash mouth football that's going to put years on your life. I mean, I can't understate how many times Washington plays us tough in Philly. It happens all the time, it seems like.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not a surprise, T.L. Hopkins, thank you for super chat. He goes, then Edmonds does a late hit. Oh, God, the late hit, too. Yeah. Oh, man. Edmonds really stinks. He stinks. Deep Thorn, thank you for super chat. He goes, don't forget the Eagles are everyone's Super Bowl. The only team to lose the Super Bowl and go 4-0 since the 70s. Top 5 offense statistically. Be grateful. How about that? Only team to lose Super Bowl and then go 4-0. That's a great sign. But yeah, I mean Washington. You knew Washington was going to be like it's an NFC East rival. It's going to be a tough.
The players know each other, and it's more amplified. It's not. I think it's definitely amplified with when they're more excited to make plays, and because a lot of these guys know each other, so that's what it is.
Yeah, I'll tell you this though, the difference between 4-1 and 5-1 is a lot. It's a lot. I'm looking at they're showing the highlights at halftime of the NBC game, and they're showing that pass with no time left to tie it by watch. I mean, there's no way he should be that open. It's crazy to me. Fabio, David Superchat goes, opposing teams' defenses don't fear Jalen running anymore since Brian Johnson wants to throw all game. Well, somebody, and I saw somebody put this in the chat. I didn't get to click on it. But they were saying, does Jalen Hurts look slow to you? And when he runs and takes off at times, he does look slower to me. But I don't think it's because he can't run fast. I think he's indecisive. Like, I think they're so focused on him not running and trying to avoid hits that I think he's playing, but he's thinking about it while he's playing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, when you look at the one play, do you remember the one play where he looked like he was getting sacked and it broke down and he was able to scramble up to
Right.
like the 50? He looked very fast that play because he was very decisive. I think they're in his head about, don't take the hits. You can't get injured. I really think that's a big part of it, dude. I
Yeah,
really do.
maybe. Yeah, I definitely see a difference, no doubt. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Q-Tip, thank you for super chat, my man. He goes, what's good, Philly and Joey? We got to put Bradbury back on the boundary because Job is Swiss cheese. Job is learning on the job, But, like, see, I don't know. In my opinion, wouldn't you be helping Job out if you took McLaurin and said, all right, Slay, shadow him? Wouldn't that actually be a help to Job?
I don't know
in
if
having,
if Desai didn't watch Vikings tape from last season and didn't shadow him on Justin Jefferson, then I don't think he's going to shadow anybody on a number one guy because they haven't done that yet. Because I mean, Job is a nice situational corner. Like, I think as depth wise, I think he's got a lot of starting experience now. He's getting all the experience now, so that's good for down the line. But as a pure starter, I don't think he's going to last. I think I think they have to dip into some trades. I think the trade deadline is. I think the Eagles are going to be buyers. I think they're still out there looking. I
agree. I agree. Jordan, thank you for the super chat, man. We really appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. He goes, same defensive coaching tree, same philosophy. It was the quote Mahomes stopper until he figured it out. 5 teams that ran this type of D last year ranked in the bottom 20 in stats. Fangio coaching tree has been figured out. I don't like it. I honestly, it just goes against everything that, as an Eagle fan, we were raised to believe. Like, to me, it goes against everything. And I do agree. Like, my hope was with Desai was that you were, of course, going to still have very similar to Gannon. I knew that was going to be the case, but I was hoping that he was going to be a little more aggressive in situations, do things a little bit differently. But he did the same thing. It is unacceptable for Sam Howell to put those kind of numbers and have that kind of completion percentage against a team when he's really his first year as a starter. I think it's unacceptable. We saw it with Zach Wilson a few years ago. We've seen it with a lot of quarterbacks. I don't like the philosophy. I think it actually puts more stress on your offense because your offense has to bail them out constantly.
Yeah, it's true. It's not fair. It's not fair to put that much stress on your. I mean, what happened to like Desai saying we want to be a feared defense, and you're not showing that. You're not being physical with the secondary. I mean, you're playing it safe. You're putting it too much on your pass rush. You're too much. Like, what happens when you get injuries with some of your D linemen? Like, like you're gonna do the same thing. Like, I don't.
No, I mean, he talked about the identity of the city of Philadelphia and what the defense has stood for in Philly, and that's our identity, and we're bringing it back. He doesn't do any of it because none of that is what the Eagles would do. Okay, they would have blitzed this kid. Jim Johnson would have been blitzing him from everywhere. He wouldn't have known where to throw the ball. That's what we used to do. And I actually think our defense and the players around it are really geared for that style of defense more than the way they play. I think Morrow and Cunningham are good attacking linebackers. I think you know what you have in your defensive line. And I think if they did those things, I think that they would actually be better off. What's the point in having Darius Slay or Bradbury or any other corner if you play 8 yards off the ball?
What's the point of drafting defensive tackles in the first round if you're not going to generate a pass rush and you move these corners off the ball? Like, what's the point of Howie Roseman putting all that into the trenches if you're just going to move your secondary back off the ball every single time?
Yeah,
I don't get it.
I'm okay with the occasional, hey, we gave up a big play here and they scored a quick touchdown. I'm okay with it. Because I think at the end of the day, you've got enough talent that you're going to make more good plays than bad plays. But they're just scared to give up those plays. Gambo, thank you for the super chat. He goes, when Brown is healthy, we need to move him into slow and put Bradbury back on the outside. Josh Jobe isn't it. He's been a liability all season. Yeah, I mean, he's learning on the fly. I like Joe, but I agree with you. He struggled. He has. Papa Joe Flick Day for Super Chat goes, Nick needs to tighten up with coaching. I agree. To me, that's my big issue with this game is the coaching. Because I think the players can play, but you need to put them in the right situation.
I wonder if they actually if they're winning, do they care about the wrongs that are going on? Do they care about the bad things that are happening in these games? As long as they're winning, do they really care? That's what I'm saying, because if they're doing the same thing every game and not making changes, if they make, we talked about earlier in the stream, if they're making the adjustments and then they go to the next game and then do the original plan that has never worked all season, are they really learning? They're winning games because of it? Is that a formula? I don't get it. I can see if you're playing off the ball and it's like Tyreek Hill or something something realistic,
right.
Then I get it. But every down,
right. But for 4 games, you've seen quarterbacks literally try to get the ball out in under 2 seconds. That is what they're trying to do. So you have to try to adjust to that. And I think if the Eagles would do that, I think they'd have a lot of stats, because we talk about Jalen Carter getting pressures, one of the most pressures out of any defensive lineman in the league, under 50 snaps. They get pressure on the quarterback, but it's not enough because they don't get enough help on the back end to give them time to get there. It's not always just people always say, well, your defensive line helps out your secondary. That's true, but your secondary also helps out your defensive line, and just that extra second makes a big difference.
True.
D Tom, thank you for super chat. He goes, you missed my super chat. I could have sworn I just read it.
I thought you read it, unless you sent another one.
I thought I just read it a couple back ago. I know. I'm pretty sure we did. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, right here. Yeah, we did read this. We did read this earlier. But thanks again. He said, don't forget the Eagles are everyone's Super Bowl, the only team to lose Super Bowl and go 4-0 since 70s. Top 5 offense statistically. Be grateful. Yes. Yeah, we did read that. Yeah, listen, I don't think it's about grateful. It's about doing the right thing, getting things figured out. Obviously, you're not gonna fix it in 1 week, you know what I'm saying?
I know, but it's how they did this offseason. It's how you get 2 new coordinators and you put these guys in for 1 preseason game for 1 series, gave them weeks of rest. I know joint practices are somewhat more valuable, but just think about it. What can't you do at joint practices? You can't fully aggressively tackle. You can't hit quarterbacks. You're limited to doing so many things in training camp in these joint practices. I think that's been a big no-no for. I think that was the big problem. And these the last few weeks have been they're trying to gel together, which they should already be like that. They should already be gelled together right now on both sides of the ball with both of these coordinators. So that is heavily into it, no doubt.
I mean, don't get me wrong. We're talking about a team that's 4-0. We're talking about a team that's 4-0. But unlike Cowboy fans, we can acknowledge where we need to fix things and where we need to improve. There's nothing wrong with acknowledging it. This team is so talented that they can have all these issues going on and they still win games. At the end of the day, that's really what they are. This is a really, really talented team because you're getting, dude, Washington played the best football today.
They did.
That's good Washington could play, and they still
good.
lost. And I think the same thing you got from New England. I thought the same thing you got from Kansas or from Minnesota. And these teams are all giving us their best shots. And this team hasn't even started to play ball yet, like we know it can, and they're still 4-0. So don't think we're just we're not bashing it. We're not saying everything is falling apart. No, we're sitting pretty. We're just acknowledging where we have to get better, because we know later on in the year when you got Kansas City, you got Buffalo, you got San Francisco, you're going to need to not make the mistakes you're making. And we say all this stuff knowing that this is one of the best teams in the league.
All right, so somebody says, Harrison says, bro's still talking about the preseason keeps us healthy. It works. Like, I'm not talking about it. We're fine. We don't have mini camp. I get that. Do you honestly think that the offseason had nothing to do with how we're playing right now? Seriously?
No, I disagree.
Come on now.
Because to a certain level, I agree and I disagree. I mean, he's right to a certain point. Like, you don't want to overplay them, but they need some work. They needed some work. I mean, that was part of the first 2 weeks where, we looked so out of it because we hadn't played at all. And they're just, I mean, come on, you're 4 weeks in. This is just like one full preseason for them. They really are just knocking the rust off. Look how much better they look each week. And it's because they're knocking off the rust. The areas that they got to improve, to me now, are with the coaching and how they use their talent around them. 03, thank you for Super Chat. 500. We need Josh out. We need others. Cup is back. Is Cooper Cup back when we play? Yeah, I think he is. Well, I mean, we're gonna have to figure it out. Raymond, thank you for Super Chat. He goes, Hurts has a great win-loss record as a starter. What is it? 22-0, 22-1 now, is it?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, listen, we're going to get it figured out. We're going to get it figured out. And I can tell you, man, when DeAndre Swift is on the field, you're more talented than a year ago at running back. Like you're literally more talented at running back than you were.
It changes the offense. It changes the whole
really
offense.
does.
The rhythm is different. It just looks like they dial up better plays when he's in. I don't know. It's just
Well, I think the defense has to account for him. They have to account for him. They have to know where he is. They have to worry about him getting the ball in a handoff. They do. So it opens up things. When Penny's out there, it seems like we couldn't. It seems like they don't even worry about the run. CW Gearhead, thank you for the super chat. He goes, I was hoping we were going to see Reed coming in on blitzes, but he was having to ball out in the secondary and come up for tackles. I thought Reed Blankenship had another great game, dude. I think he's a bright spot on this team.
Yeah, I agree.
I really like what I see from him. I do. Chris B. Davis Super Chat goes, defensive Swiss cheese secondary is cooked. I believe that's because of how they're playing. They can change it. I mean, they did a pretty good job last week against Mayfield and against Tampa Bay. So you can't tell me they're not capable of it. I think it's part of how they're playing. Nick, thank you for the super chat, man. Appreciate it. He goes, when was the last homegrown non-defensive line defensive player in Philadelphia? We haven't invested draft capital into the back seven since Trotter. Love what you guys do. Yeah, we haven't drafted a linebacker. Well, we've drafted a couple linebackers in the second and third rounds. They haven't panned out. Trotter was a third-round pick. Michael Kendricks was a second-round pick. So there's been some. But as far as safety, corner, linebacker, yeah, I don't think there's really been early picks, has there? I mean, the last first-round corner we drafted was Lito Shepherd. So yeah, it's true. It's true. I got to tell you, my eyes, and this is early. This is a get off top, but I'm eyeing Jeremiah Trotter's son. Like, that kid needs to come.
Here we go.
Get him. Yes, draft 54. Get that.
Was he at Clemson? He plays for Clemson, right?
He looks exactly like his dad, man. He's a player. That's the kind of guy they need. Samuel Davis Super Chat goes, Nick Sirianni should take over the offensive play callings, and Sean decides needs to stop playing soft coverage with our corners. Even though the announcers tonight at one point were like, I don't understand what the Eagles are doing on defense. No, they literally said, I don't understand what the Eagles are doing on defense. They play way too far back and way too soft on third and short. and we just don't understand why, because it makes it easy for Washington. And I was like, wow, they're even admitting it, So, I haven't heard the press conferences. I haven't heard anything, but I am curious to see what the side has to say and what they're going to say about it. I don't know if we mentioned this earlier. AJ Brown is getting a drug test. They gave him a random drug test, which is total bullcrap. They did that to him last year after you said it was the Pittsburgh game, right? I knew it was the Pittsburgh or Tennessee game. So they're looking for anything to try to screw us. Sean Johnson, thank you for the super chat. He goes, it was a short week. We will be ironing out these wrinkles. Next week, I see a big win. I love our chances versus the Rams. Although, I hate feeling like,
we say this. we say this.
Sam Howell throw for what he did. What is Stafford going to do to you? So I do worry about that.
Well, dude, I think these 2 weeks are great because now it's Stafford. Then we're gonna see what Zach Wilson does to us. It's gonna be great.
Dude, Zach Wilson's best game in his career was against us. You remember his rookie year where he couldn't throw for over 8 yards, and he came out and he was like 16 and 19 in the first half on Jonathan Gannon. It's like it drives me nuts. I want this team 6-0 going into Miami. That Miami game, I want them 6-0. I think 5-0 is a huge difference than 4-1. It just is. It's a big deal. Papa Joe Philly, thank you for super chat. He goes, coaching is stale and talent is bailing us out. I agree. I think the talent is bailing us out. I totally
100%.
agree. Green Blaze of Fly Eagle, thank you for super chat. He goes, get Albert O involved. It's an interesting question because we really haven't seen much from the tight ends. Even Goddard. I mean, Goddard had one pass he dropped that almost was a pick six, actually. He made another nice catch, but we don't see two tight ends as much as we did last year. We don't see Calcaterra. We hardly see Stahl at all. It's kind of crazy, no?
Yeah, I mean, I expect more from Goddard this year, but it looks like he doesn't know how to. I don't know, because really it was it was a few times. It wasn't much. I don't even know what his statistics were. He only had a few catches, a couple catches.
Yeah, I don't know.
Much.
Yeah, and I think part of it is dude, if you guys watch the game again, if you go back and watch it, do me a favor, make sure you notice when Swift is not on the field and how the offense looks different. Now, they did have Swift out there lined up in the slot a couple times. They had him lined up out wide and Gainwell as a running back. I didn't mind that at all. I thought that was good, Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Joey says Gainwell almost cost 3 points with the fumble. I know. I don't even get people. Let me see something here. I gotta try to pull this up. I want to see what the statistics on Gainwell are, because I have people telling me that I'm mean to Gainwell or I don't give him a chance, and he's just as good, and he's our number one running back. And it's I don't know what they're looking at. Am I totally crazy? Is Gainwell does Gainwell, when you watch him play, do you look at him and go, man, that's a starting running back.
That's a hell of a back.
I mean, I'm oh my God, what happened? What happened? It's crazy.
It's like they're playing favorites or something. I don't know.
So Sam Howell was 29 of 41. 29 of 41. Okay. That is 12 incompletions is all he had. See that is unacceptable to me. That should never happen with a young. Listen, Tom Brady does that to you, fine. Mahomes does that to you, fine. Sam Howell? I don't know, man. Let's see. DeAndre Swift had 14 carries for 56 yards and a touchdown. He had average 4 yards a carry. Gainwell, 4 carries, 4 yards, 3.5 yards a carry. He just ain't it, man.
I don't get it.
He's just not it.
Are they treating Swift as a situational guy? That man could be a running back one. That guy could take a whole game by himself, literally.
I think they don't want to hurt him and stuff,
Yeah, true.
which I get, and that's fine. Okay, but what I'm saying is, if you're gonna sub him in and out, why does it have to be complete drives, right? So, like, let's say you want to get Gainwell some snaps on a certain drive. Why on a 3rd and 1 do you have to have Gainwell still be in there? Like, why not switch him out? Why not bring him in certain situations? Make the defense have to think about the possibility he might get the ball. Like, why is it where, all right, you're not in the next 2 series, now you're in again? Like, why can't we rotate them in on a play for play basis?
Yeah. Or you have like Swift run going downfield, like they do plays with Swift going all the way downfield. They get the red zone, they sub them out or something like that. Like that, it's just I don't know. It makes no sense.
Right. Yeah. Nate says it's not like last year was all sunshine and rainbows. We had 1-score games against the Lions, Bears, Jags, Cards, Colts, and the Giants' 3rd stringers. We'll be fine. Listen, there is no reason. I think we'll be fine too. I think we'll figure it out. We're just acknowledging what is obviously out there. That's all. I think we'll figure it out. We should figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
But the one thing you could say about this team, man, is they find ways to win. They've got a lot of character, and can you imagine when this team starts clicking on all cylinders? The NFL's in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
They're in trouble.
I agree.
That I totally believe. Let me try to catch up to this chat. 03, thank you for Super Chat. I'm scared for LA and Wilson tied up in Kansas right now.
Tied game, yeah.
Yeah. Kansas hasn't looked great. I mean, the Chiefs haven't looked that great either to start the season.
Mm-mm.
Jordan Keeler, thank you for Super Chat. The Browns were one of the teams that ranked in the bottom 20 last year. It's early, but they look like top 5 this year. I mean, it's early. I agree with that. We're talking about changes, though. Like the changes we're talking about, the things we're talking about are very fixable and things that they can do, and hopefully they'll start seeing it. Thank Kelly Green Burrito. Thank you for Super Chat. He goes, I'm at the, what is it? The Attila show, but showing some love. Go Birds.
Awesome,
thank
bro.
you so much. What's Attila?
It's a metal band.
Oh, metal band. Okay, well, have fun, man.
Definitely.
Bang your head. Bang your head.
Jesus Christ.
Bang your head. Bang your head. Do it.
Oh, my God.
Oh, look, it's Westy Rock. Oh, I'm Mr. Westy Rocks. I'm out and I disappear when my team loses, and then I show up when my team wins. Your team's still trash. Westy Rock, you should be like, you should have no right to go in any chats for like 4 days, like a suspension, because you always disappear when you lose. I hate when you do that. At least pop up and say, all right, you beat us. Good game. And then you can disappear, But you always do that when you only win. And then he disappears for long stretches of time, Cash Cruise 500. You going to be streaming Dallas San Fran? Yeah. I'm streaming. I think that's Sunday. I think I got I think it's a triple header. I think it's the Giants in the morning, and then it's the Eagles at 4, and then I think Niners and Dallas at night. So we're gonna have a late shakedown that night, dude.
So Nicholas Morrow had 11 tackles, 3 sacks, 3 tackles for loss, 3 QB hits, and a forced fumble.
That's Pro Bowl statistics right there, man.
It's a good game.
A great game. I think he's your starting linebacker. I can't, and I like Nakobe Dean, but I can't justify not playing Morrow, dude. I just can't do it.
I know.
I have to play him. Eagles Life Day for Super Chat goes, I have no words. Game took a lot out of me. Love you. Yeah, that game took, man, dude, I don't know what your reaction to the game was. Mine was like this. I swear, I was like, oh my God, thank God. Like,
yeah.
Like, I honestly, Joey, I thought we were going to lose that game. When it went to overtime and we lost the coin toss.
The coin toss, that was it. I was like, it's done.
Because that's how it usually happens. But we found a way. Good teams find a way to win. Maverick, thank you for Super J goes, fire Howie. Come on now. This is where you need Howie right now. This is where we
True
need
that.
Howie. All right? Howie's going to be fine. Eagles will be fine. Don't take, just because we talk about issues we see, it's only because we want them to be better every week. No, this still a really good team. Dalvin says 500. I love you, bro, but you have to get out of the just wanting to blitz quarterbacks to death. This isn't the 2000s anymore. Oh man, this is I love when people say that to me. Cowboys are way too good at throwing and athletic to do that. Quarterbacks aren't statues anymore. The Cowboys. Did he say the Cowboys?
QBs.
Okay, I'm sorry. I don't know why I saw that. I have to completely disagree with you, my friend. I respectfully disagree. I think it's actually more important today in today's football, where you have all the rules are pitted against the defense. They're all pitted against the defense. It's a offensive league. I'm sorry. I believe that in the only real way to negate the rules and the advantages that the NFL provide the offense in the NFL is to be aggressive and to get a quarterback and to attack them. I'm not saying blitz 70% of the time. I'm not saying it. But you have to blitz. You have to be aggressive. I don't think the NFL is set up in a way that you can sit back and play the style of defense every week that we play, and your defense is going to have a chance. I think you have to be aggressive. And I think that the idea that they're moving away from it, I disagree. I think some of the teams out there are still very aggressive. They still blitz. I think 30-something% of the time is necessary. And I just disagree with it. I know quarterbacks move around and they're mobile, but if you just, to me, I want to dictate to the offense what I'm going to do. I don't want to be reactionary and have the offense always dictate to me. That's what Gannon and that's what this style of defense is. They allow the offense to dictate to them, and then they try to counterpunch and basically contain what they're doing. I don't think that works. I think you have to be aggressive in the NFL, because otherwise too many advantages are on the offensive side of the ball. Now, if you could get home with 4, then you do it. But when you need to dial up blitzes, you have to. I would rather die playing aggressive and dictating what I do instead of dying by 1,000 paper cuts, which is the way we play. We play to die slow death. So I understand what you're saying, but I respectfully disagree. I actually think it's more important today.
Well, and the main issue is the main issue is not even the blitzing. I mean, like, as long as at least they do blitz this year. The main thing is they're playing this soft zone coverage at the whole game. I thought going to the second half they started to press a little bit. That's what Slay had.
And I'm not specifically talking about blitzing every single time.
No,
I'm not saying blitz 50% of the time. But what I'm saying is and sometimes I just associate blitzing or bringing an extra man with man defense. I think you have to play more man, and I think you have to play up, and you have to be willing to dare teams and risk big plays downfield to be aggressive, because the underneath stuff, it doesn't work. And I may use the word blitz a lot because I'm thinking in terms of bringing extra pressure or playing man to man. But what I'm saying is you can't be 8 yards off on 3rd and 4 and then expect not to give up easy first downs. That stuff's got to change. That's what I'm talking about. And if you're not getting home with your quarterback, okay, if a quarterback's 12 of 15 and a half and you're not getting to him with your front 4, you got to dial up some blitzes. And they did blitz today. When they did blitz, Morrow had 3 sacks. And I like it, but they could have played more press and they could have played more man. That's why I said.
True.
Just call me Flair. Thank you for Super Chat. He goes, Eagles accepting the penalty and playing soft zone on 3rd and 6 made me want to shoot myself, no lie. I agree. It's frustrating, It is. I'm trying to catch up. I think I'm caught up. But, I mean, that's how I see it. So, we'll see. I don't think what the Eagles are doing is working when you have a quarterback putting up the numbers he does. I mean, if you look at the Buffalo game last week, Buffalo has no problem blitzing. They have no problem bringing heat, and they confused the crap out of Howell. He threw 4 interceptions. That's what I think.
I get it.
So, but I mean, I understand it. The NFL does change, but everything that it changes for is an advantage to the offense right now. It's not to the defense. You can't even hit a guy a certain way, and you're thrown out of the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's true.
Trumpy says, when do we see the line of Cox, Davis, Carter on third down? I don't know. I don't know. Joey says the blitz worked. Morrow had 3 sacks and Reddick had a sack on a blitz. Yeah, I mean, I thought the blitz worked when they did it. I don't think they did enough of it, but not even the blitz. More so to me, it was the soft coverage play. I think they need to play a little more man with the corners you have. And I think they need to play a little press. And when I think of man, I think of being able to have an extra guy come off the edge or blitz or stuff like that. And that's kind of what I'm talking about. I feel like the Eagles need to be a defense that dictates too. That's what I'm talking about.
Do you think the identity needs to change? Do you think like they need to get the run game going to ease their way into a rhythm with the pass? I mean, does it have to change?
I don't know. I think I would like to see it change, but it's not completely going to change. But I think that they can take advantage of certain things. Like you can play the defense you like to play in first, second down, but when you're in like 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4, why? What are you doing 8 yards back?
True.
Can you hear me?
I hear you.
Hold on. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hello?
Okay. I hear you.
Okay. My AirPods went. Somebody connected to my AirPods on another thing. I don't know what happened. I really hate that about Apple. It's like all your AirPods connect to all these different devices. I don't want it to just connect to one, So I don't know. I forgot where we were at, but I mean, those are my thoughts. I still like the aggressive defense, and I like the teams that play it.
Right.
I just think we're so scared to get beat deep and get beat on the big play that it hurts us from other things that we could be doing. Torville said, I would guess that Reddick's thumb injury probably affected not just his ability to grab, but also strength in terms of weightlifting. He doesn't get as much as pushed this year. I mean, it was good to see Reddick get a sack today. I thought that was good. I
thought he got held a couple times today. To be honest.
Yeah. I do too. I agree. Jalen says, Philly, is it time to say that Hurts is better than Burrow? Burrow was 1-4. I mean, I think Burrow's really hurt. I mean, I think the guy's banged up.
Something's wrong with him.
They should sit him, and they're not. But right now, how can you not say that? You know what I mean? Let's see. Splendid says other teams can't do the brotherly shove. I know. I saw a couple teams try to do it, and it didn't work. Flat out. I think New England tried to do it today. It didn't work. Like it doesn't always work.
Nope.
Let's see here. I want Jalen or Burrow for a big game. Okay. Cowboy fans be like, it's confirmed. The Cowboys are the best team in the league since they beat the Jets. Easy. And since the Eagles lost to the Chiefs in the Super Bowl and the Jets are keeping up. Yeah, they always do things like that. I'm surprised this game's 2020 right now. It's kind of crazy,
Yeah, it's nuts, yeah.
G.I. Zoe Sports Radio says, oh, he's talking to somebody else. I'll let him talk to somebody else. David says, can Collinsworth quit riding Mahomes? I can't hear what's going on. So is there anything else, man, that we're talking about? Are we missing out on anything?
I think that's it. I mean, that's the main issues that we're having. We took some good things out of the game, some bad things, and obviously both sides have to get right. The offense should hopefully the next couple of weeks, we'll be up to form before Miami, and this defense I don't know, they got to figure what they're doing with nickel with Josh Jobe, and I don't know if they're upgrading positions or whatnot. So hopefully we'll get some reinforcements next week with Sidney Brown and Justin Evans coming back. So
yeah. Anthony, what are you talking about? You know what he's talking about? There's got to be a chat, right? Two bums trying to team up with terrible takes against G.I. Zoe. Who is he talking about? We love G.I. Zoe.
They're fighting with somebody. There's a G.I. Zoe in the chat.
No, G.I. Zoe is great, but I'm like, I don't know what he's talking about. All we do is win, no matter what. Give Dak the ball, he'll give it up. When Cowboys step in our building, middle fingers go up and stay there. I agree.
Oh, how about Britton Covey today?
Britton Covey, I didn't even get worried about him. I did for a tiny second, and then I said, no, he's number one like every statistical category. And he had a good return. I was really hoping in overtime he would break one for a touchdown.
Right.
That would have been awesome.
Yeah, another good week. He looks really good right now.
Yeah, he does. Our Gravy David Super Chat goes, Cam Jurgens a boot right now. Yeah, we lost Jurgens. That really sucked, and he's in a boot. So hopefully it's not too bad. But yeah, that was a bad loss for us,
Opeta's good though. I think he played pretty well going to this game. I mean, he plays both guard spots really well. I think they really like him. He's been here for a while, so
yeah. And Tortyville's right. Covey a few times was on the field as a wide receiver. I don't know if you saw that, but he was actually out there. Yeah, that was interesting. They didn't throw to him, but it was good to see him out there. I didn't notice on the kickoffs if Devin Allen was out there. Does anybody know if Devin Allen played today? I don't think I saw him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Always Killing says Hurts has one of his last 5 games down double digits, joining only Joe Montana, Steve Barkowski in NFL. How about that? I thought Hurts played good today. I did. I thought Hurts was pretty sharp today in the passing game, and it was good to see it come along. We just got to clean up a few things that seem like every time we're getting to that rhythm, something stalls us out. Whether it's a penalty or something, just got to clean it up. Morgan Holmes, thank you for super chat, my man. He goes, it's funny we are at the point that we are. What's the new way we will win this week? I will take it. A win is a win. Oh, I'll take it too. I mean, I couldn't be happier about the win because, like I said, these wins, man, you want to pile these kind of wins up. These build character, and it's not like we're winning and we're so good that we're going to be complacent. That they're thinking we got a lot of things to fix. I like that. Yeah. I think it keeps you dialed in.
True.
So. Yeah, well, anyways, I don't know if there's anything else, man. We got a super chat, but if there's anything else, we could get out of here. I still got a cigar video to do later tonight. 41 to 33. Thank you for the super chat. He goes, please stir the gravy for me. I need the Chiefs to win. Oh crap! For $650, like the stream guys. Well, I'm rooting for you, man. I hope that you win it, man. Definitely, man. Hopefully you win it. And shout out to you. Cash says, 500. You think the game against San Fran will decide the number 1 seed in the NFC? You think? I think it. I mean, it's early right now, but at this point, it looks like that's the trajectory we're heading.
Right.
It looks like it's San Francisco and the Eagles again, and that home field is going to be very important. I think. Go ahead.
I think too, Jake Elliott coming for us. It's Jake Elliott's becoming an elite kicker now. I think he's really coming to he might be the next Justin Tucker for all we know. I mean, I know it's saying a lot, but he's very consistent. Got to say.
It's weird. I never was concerned when he came out for that 54-yarder. I knew he was going to hit it. I knew he was gonna I didn't worry that he was gonna miss the field goal. I knew he was gonna hit it. And that just tells you how good he has been. Because
that wind was killing. That wind was killing today because that ball would go straight. That wind was nuts today.
Yeah, well, it looked like when it go off, it kind of go to the right and then come back, and it was like for a second you're like, oh, okay, cool, we're good. So, yeah, I think Elliott was great. Definitely another big game for Elliott. Best kicker in the league right now. I think that's fair to say. I mean, he's got game winner after game winners. Putting up points, man. I think he's been fantastic.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, listen, we're gonna let you go. Thank you for all you guys for being here. We had over 1,200 people at one point in the chat between the both of us. If you're new, hit that like. Make sure you subscribe. If you're on my channel, click the link in the description. Go sub out my man Joey Shakes. I'm sure Joey will have videos. I'll have a cigar video out late tonight, as well as I will be streaming tomorrow's Giants Seahawks game. Hopefully, it'll be better than that Cowboys game because that was just ass today. It was a horrible game.
Giants play Monday night.
Giants Seahawks.
Yeah.
That's not a give me for the Giants. So we'll see what they do because I think they got Buffalo coming. They got Miami. I mean, they got some tough teams, man. If they don't win, they're in big trouble. They can't afford to go to 1-3. So we'll see. All right, guys. Well, yeah, we're gonna let you go. Unfortunately I don't have the Michael Anthony Where's the Fitness taking us out thing tonight. So you Cowboy fans will get a break. We'll have something next week though. But with that, we are gonna get out of here. You guys take care. Talk to you later. Of course, don't be a dingbat. Peace.
Peace.